Islamabad became the epicenter of political turmoil as thousands of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf supporters marched into the capital, demanding the release of their leader, Imran Khan. What began as a powerful show of resistance soon faltered under the weight of unclear strategies and leadership missteps. Lack of direction and internal divisions weakened the protests' momentum, leaving supporters vulnerable to the massive government crackdown on November 27th. The tragic conclusion marked by violence and arrests underscored not only the state's resolve, but also the movement's inability to sustain its impact. In this video, we examine the rise and fall of this dramatic protest, what led to it, the missteps that defined its course, and the lasting impact on Pakistan's volatile political landscape. In Islamabad, where the nation's decisions are made, a peaceful protest was organized by Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, led by Imran Khan. What was meant to be a demonstration for democratic rights and political reform quickly became a focal point of political tension. The PTI sit-in was driven by a desire to address concerns about governance, accountability, and the future of the country. Thousands of people from across Pakistan came together to peacefully voice their demands for change. At its core, it was an exercise of the constitutional right to protest and express dissent. However, the response from authorities was swift and forceful. Protesters faced a heavy security presence, with roadblocks and disruptions in the capital. Despite the peaceful nature of the gathering, many participants found their movements restricted, and some were detained for questioning. The events also unfolded in an environment where media coverage and communication were heavily focused on the government's perspective. Some reports suggested a lack of space for diverse voices, leading to questions about the balance of coverage during such significant national events. PTI leadership continued to press for dialogue and negotiation, highlighting their concerns about political processes and governance. Throughout the protest, the leadership called for peaceful resolutions to what they viewed as systemic issues, with an emphasis on the need for more engagement from the political establishment. Despite the difficulties they encountered, the supporters of PTI remained steadfast, showing strong support for their cause. Their resolve reflected a deep commitment to political change and a belief in their ability to make their voices heard, even when facing significant challenges. While tensions were high, it's clear that the situation underscored the importance of dialogue and mutual understanding in a democracy. The ability to peacefully address concerns is a key principle, and it remains essential that all sides work together to find common ground for the future. However, despite the determination of the people, the PTI leadership faced criticism for their handling of the sit-in. While the initial calls for the Long March energized their supporters, the lack of clear strategy and internal disagreements within the leadership ultimately led to confusion and frustration among the ranks. Including differences in opinion on how to approach negotiations with the government created uncertainty. These inconsistencies in messaging, from calls for immediate resignation of the government to more moderate demands, left many wondering what the true objectives of the protest were. One of the key failures was the absence of a clear, achievable plan. While PTI's message resonated with many, the leadership struggled to maintain momentum. Prolonged protests without visible progress led to a decline in participation. Many supporters grew disheartened, and the initial energy of the protest waned as the days dragged on without a clear path forward. For many PTI supporters, the lack of tangible outcomes from the sit-in was a source of frustration. While they had come out in large numbers to support the cause, they found themselves questioning whether the leadership could really deliver on their promises. This growing disillusionment, combined with the lack of effective communication from the leadership, ultimately weakened the movement. Despite these challenges, PTI's call for political reform and accountability continues to resonate with a significant portion of the population. The movement for change is not over. In the face of adversity, PTI and its supporters remain committed to their vision of a more transparent, accountable Pakistan. While the sit-in may not have achieved its intended goals, the political struggle in Pakistan is far from over. The desire for a system of governance that is accountable to the people will continue to fuel the debate. As the country moves forward, it's clear that the conversation on reform, democracy, and the future will persist. Will PTI's leadership learn from this experience, or will new leaders rise to carry the torch of change? Only time will tell. As this situation evolves, it serves as a reminder that in any democracy, the voices of the people should never be ignored. Stay tuned for more insights into the unfolding developments in Pakistan's political landscape.